What's up, everybody? This is Ringside Geeks. My name is Dave. Joining me tonight is a beach ball.
Oh boy.
The beach ball has been ejected. No, joining me
Can
tonight.
you ask it to go away? Yeah.
Joining me tonight is John.
What's up, guys? The champ is here.
And Monroe is also here.
That's me. It's just me.
And no Tom tonight. Coming off a pretty busy week with SummerSlam and TakeOver happening, and then some shakeups to two rosters with two people. Essentially, it's about it on Monday and Tuesday, and then we had an NXT show which was recorded during TakeOver, and some 205 live news, I guess, if you want to call it that. As well. So some things we can cover. First off, we can congratulate the winner of our PW Scorecards Funko Pop giveaway thing.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Jay Sawyer.
At Jason Sawyer won our first giveaway. He won the Finn Balor Funko Pop. I still have to order that and send that out to him, which I will do promptly very soon. So he should expect that in his DM, the tracking number in his DM very soon. If you missed out or you didn't get to enter last time, stay tuned. We'll do probably another one in September and more as we go along. Probably guarantee something pretty cool at WrestleMania time, but for now, just follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified of all of our giveaways and shows and stuff like that.
And thanks everybody. Thanks for participating. We had a really good response, I think. So
yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for listening and thanks for checking it out. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Also, stay tuned to our Instagram this weekend, as we'll be at Wizard World Chicago, and there's a couple wrestlers, WWE stars, that'll be there throughout the weekend. Kevin Owens, Charlotte, Hardy Boys, and Alexa Bliss. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but that's all that I remember off the top of my... Oh, Roman Reigns. We'll all be there.
Yeah, he's forgettable, that's for sure.
And each of them have their own half-hour panels, so we'll be covering that as best as I can. I don't think I can release video, but we might be able to, put some cool segments from the question and answer parts of the panels. If nothing else, I'll be posting on Instagram maybe some WWE cosplays or just pictures of the panels or from the panels.
Cool.
Awesome.
So I guess we can just review the shows. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 happened on Saturday. As it usually does, it sets the tone for the whole weekend and sets the bar, which WWE's main card rarely ever, if ever, can match. Partly because there's just it's a compact card. They have a start, a finish. And it's not as chaotic as a 4-hour show. They fit it in about 2.5 hours.
Absolutely.
So it's a little
much easier to digest as a fan.
Easier to take in, easier to not get restless. But there were some pretty great surprises on this TakeOver card that we didn't know about going in. Some that we had assumptions for, some that didn't happen, but some that we didn't have any idea would happen. Andrade Almas defeated Johnny Gargano after Zelina Vega threw a DIY shirt at Johnny Gargano, which distracted him. I don't know if just being hit by a shirt distracted him or if it was actually the DIY part, because I don't know if he would have noticed it was DIY right away, because he got hit with that dropkick rather quickly, but he was clearly affected by the shirt. And there was a post-show interview where it looked like he was pretty fazed by it. But overall, good match.
Oh, great match. I thought that was one of the standouts on that card, honestly. That was, I think that was my favorite singles match from the men on that card. So, very happy.
Yeah, definitely one of the stronger matches of the weekend, in my opinion. Just exciting. The crowd was hot for it, and people don't give a lot of credit to Andrade, but they should. We all know Gargano is awesome, and he is the ultimate babyface, but we have to give some credit to Andrade because every match that he has, especially on a takeover, he always shows up. So kudos to him, man. He did a great job here. I love the shirt angle with the mind games from Tommaso Ciampa. It was all awesome. Great.
Yeah, he's really coming into his own as with this whole manager now, Zelina Vega, and the character that he has. He's bringing back that. I noticed a lot of parallels between he and Tetsuya Naito in the ring. So he's kind of adopting that Ingobernable style, and it's cool, man. I'm digging it. I hope that the only problem is that right now at the top of the card, it's starting to look a little crowded. So we'll see where he fits in, but I'd like to see him get a shot somewhere down the line. I think he earned it. He's been busting his tail for a while down in NXT. So
he has.
I was reading about him over the weekend, and he's actually a founding member of Los Ingobernables.
Yes, he is. I read that as well.
Correct. So more than likely, there was more of a tribute or
not as
a
much
nod
to his fellow brother.
Still awesome to see.
Actually, more so, Naito is the one who would therefore be taking something because I'd imagine he kind of originated it.
He's using a newer finisher, that Hammerlock DDT, which looked fantastic when he hit Gargano with it.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah. Next up on the card would be the Tag Team Championship match between Sanity. We thought would be Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane, but ended up being EY, playing some mind games on Paul Erling, who thinks he knows everything, with his Book of Pain, defeating the authors of Pain in another decent match.
Yeah, much
Not
better
bad.
than I expected it to be.
Much better than I expected too.
Nikki Cross getting dirty.
Yeah, that was such a great spot. Loved it. Looks like the authors of Pain should be looking at a call up here soon, I would think, right?
Yeah, probably.
Depleted tag team divisions, so I'd imagine so on the main roster. Although we just added one to SmackDown, which is questionable at best. But yeah, Nikki Cross showing that the women can get in there and mix it up with the men, and taking a big spot. Even though she was protected, it still was a big spot, and it looked great.
It looked great. Absolutely. Love it.
So she flew and then went through a table. So it was pretty cool. That match would end, though, with Sanity getting the victory, but then both teams being brutally attacked by Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly coming out of nowhere. Chasing the Dragon on EY. Kyle O'Reilly looking like he was taking a lot of frustration out on EY at one point with some elbows to the head.
Yeah. That's who he is, though. He's just angry.
And then Corey Graves called that match too, by the way.
Yes, correct.
It was like a NXT alumni night, so a lot of people were back, and he called that match, and then Jim Ross would call the Hideo Itami Aleister Black match that we're going to talk about in a second. But yeah, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly not wasting any time and reuniting with their historically champion streak reigning tag team, Red Dragon. I don't know if they'll be called that, but that would be pretty cool if they can be called Red Dragon.
Oh, I imagine they will be.
I hope so.
And it wouldn't be the last time we saw them at the during TakeOver too, which was a pretty great surprise as well. We'll get into that in a second, but Red Dragon being popular in Ring of Honor, I'm only bringing that up now because it's the theme, I think, of later, and actually of what happened on NXT on Wednesday night as well, which we'll kind of discuss. But Kyle O'Reilly and Fish, making a statement as to what their intentions are in NXT, and they're going straight for Sanity. So it made a lot of sense that that the titles changed hands. We're adding a new tag team. A lot of parallels and kind of balancing the scales, so to speak. But yeah,
moving pieces for sure.
Right. Aleister Black would then face Hideo Itami in what was kind of a rushed but cool grudge match. Right away, Black would get busted open a little bit on his nose, so he had color throughout the match. But again, another good match. Itami continues to kind of impress with his aggressiveness. And probably the second time Aleister Black's kind of been tested, as opposed to, his first time was with Kyle O'Reilly. And then now with Hideo Itami, who, again, it's crowded at the top, but there's a lot of room in the mid-card for both these guys right now.
Yeah, and I mean, a bit of news here. I've read that there's been rumors of creating a second mid-card title for the men on NXT, and that would be pretty fantastic for guys like Hideo Itami, Aleister Black, Andrade Almas. Yeah,
No way,
all those
Jose.
guys could
Yeah.
really benefit from that right now because, like we've discussed, NXT is getting very crowded, and instead of seeing these guys go and fall by the wayside, this would be a way for them to steal the card any night with another championship. So I'm all for it.
Same here.
Again, with this concise, kind of compact card of being like roughly 2.5 hours and only 5 matches, no match was less than 12 minutes long. So you got to see, I mean, the tag team match was the shortest match, and that was exactly 12 minutes. So, not a lot of time, but still enough time to tell a good story in every match.
Absolutely.
The longest match being the main event, which typically is probably the way it's supposed to be.
Right. Also, want to point out too, in the Aleister Black match, like you said, he did get busted open pretty early. No one rushed in with a towel. Remember when Joe got busted open pretty early with the match against Finn Balor? I want to say.
It was Finn Balor, yeah.
Yeah, they rushed in with that towel, and he was actually kind of upset about it because they wouldn't get out of his way. But you notice that they didn't really do that in this match. I thought that was pretty interesting.
That was one of the best moments in Joe's entire WWE/NXT runs, was just seeing him walking around like an angry giant with that blood dripping all over his body. Oh my God. I'll never forget that visual. That was sick.
And the crowd helped. Well, this will be a theme again for this show too. The crowd helped with that too, because they kept yelling, "Let them fight." That kind of thing.
Great
because Joe was ticked off because it would lose the momentum of the match, and the match was going full tilt at that point. And to stop, to wipe him off, to clean him up and stitch him up, or whatever you're gonna do, would have killed the momentum for sure. And they were telling a good story, and that you don't want anything like that to get in the way. I'll call it a co-main event. Asuka, the NXT Women's Champion, would defend against Ember Moon. Ember finally hitting her finisher, the Eclipse, on Asuka, and almost getting it, but Asuka would force Ember to tap out actually with the Asuka lock to retain the title yet again, but not without taking some damage herself, as she would break her collarbone, and she is now out about 6 to 8 weeks. But because she's not a part-timer, she won't be stripped of her title. So she'll still be the champion. I mean, granted, they typically don't defend those championships off of a takeover event anyway. It's fairly rare.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Although to me, that points more towards she's eventually going to lose, as opposed to, let's bring her up to the main roster with her undefeated streak still intact.
I think it gives them an out now. She's weakened. So
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Now if Ember happens to hit that move again on that injured collarbone,
she can use that as not like I had to be broken to be beaten, instead of I was undefeated as 100%, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
she can still come out strong.
Me personally, I'd still rather her just go up to the roster undefeated. But Monroe, what's your take on this?
Well, I just want to say it's kind of funny how they pick and choose where they want to apply that rule. But anyway, it sucks that she got injured, but I think I'm fine either way. I like the fact that they could use the injury as, the only way I lost is because I was half the woman I'm injured and this and that. I like that because it still makes her look strong. And I'm perfectly okay with her keeping the undefeated streak intact, coming up to the main roster, possibly winning a title there, and then just vacating the NXT title. I'm fine either way. As far as that match go, that was definitely my favorite match of the weekend. They delivered just as I expected. Awesome match, best of the women for sure. And I think it was the best of NXT. Probably, like I said, best of the weekend. Those girls are super, super talented. We know Asuka is, and she's finally wrestling someone that's closer to her level, and she was able to do so many things that she wasn't able to do against so many other people. And it really showed just how talented she is. You know, she's multifaceted. She's technical, she's strong style, she's all this other stuff. And it was just great to see Ember Moon showed up. She's awesome as well. And man, I cannot wait to see what these two do again.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the main event for me Saturday night. I was looking forward to that match the most, and totally delivered, especially Asuka, like you said, standout performer from the weekend.
Absolutely.
And then that would lead into our other main event, which was the NXT Championship match. Bobby Roode defending against Drew McIntyre. They had shown, excuse me, they had shown Roddy Strong was in one of the boxes earlier, watching the show with a few of the alumni and some of the roster that wasn't on the card, that kind of thing. We got to see some people at ringside, like Joe and 3 of the 4 horsewomen of NXT. And Shinsuke was there, that kind of stuff. So it was cool to see the alumni there. They had said that Finn was like supposed to be there, but I don't remember seeing him in the audience.
I don't either.
Anyway, Drew McIntyre would go on to end the reign of gloriousness in NXT by winning the NXT Championship, and as it would unfold, we would figure out kind of why they chose to book it this way. Because as Drew was celebrating and Bobby was trying to find his car to get out of the arena, Drew would be confronted by the aforementioned Red Dragon standing in the corner to get his attention away from the debuting Adam Cole coming from the crowd, who would then lay out Drew McIntyre with a super kick and then holding up the NXT Championship as the event came to a close. So really, I mean, the Roode call-up made sense at that point, and then putting it on a face to face this new faction, or at least Adam Cole, the booking makes sense. And if you watched NXT this week, when the backstage reporter was trying to interview Bobby Roode when he was trying to leave the event, Roddy would come out and say, "I'll see you soon," and blow him a kiss, and then left. So it leaves me to wonder if this whole thing with Cole, with Fish and O'Reilly, if Roddy is not somehow involved as well, and it's some big kind of Ring of Honor type faction.
Yeah, I think that's the direction. I had heard the rumblings about that. This was weeks prior. And I didn't know what to make of it at first. I guess, with all things, it's kind of let's see what they do with it before you judge it. Personally, with the run that Roddy was on as a face, I completely disagree with this decision. I think it's a complete waste of his character. And I think Roddy's going to have to kind of play a backseat role. And he is a far better wrestler. Okay, I'm a huge Adam Cole fan. And I'm so happy to see him debut, because this is a guy who is very charismatic, and I think he's going to find great success in NXT. But still, that does not change the fact that, in my opinion, Roderick Strong is a far better wrestler than Adam Cole. And I don't think he should have to play second fiddle in this stable. Whether or not he actually does is to be determined. But I hope he doesn't play second fiddle to Adam Cole in this stable. And I still stand pat that he should have been the one to win that championship, because I would much rather see Adam Cole versus Roderick Strong than see Adam Cole versus Drew McIntyre. That's just me personally. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like, because it seems to me that faction would be heels. And right now, Roddy, besides Gargano, is like the ultimate babyface. He's probably one of the top babyfaces, if not the top babyface in NXT. And him joining that faction just looks like him turning heel, and I think it's way too soon, and it's not a good idea to do so. I can see them going against Roddy because of that, because he won't join them. He's such a good guy, whatever, which could lead to Adam Cole versus Rod Strong. I'm fine with that. It's still weird to me that Rod wasn't included in that main event. That was just perfect. It was written for him, and it's just amazing that he wasn't there. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with this, but I hope it's not having Rod join that group as heels because I don't want that.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that's true or not. I happen to be a fan of McIntyre. I thought the match was good. I thought those guys had good chemistry as well. They're both very similar styles as far as kind of old school. Um, and I enjoyed the match, and I think I like Drew as champion right now because he is kind of a big beast of a guy. And it would be kind of cool to see a guy like Roddy Strong, face or heel, but probably face, go up against a guy like that who's just enormous compared to him, and then overcome it as well. Maybe this is a way to kind of turn Drew heel. Who knows? Um, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see where it plays out. All I know is the addition of those three guys as a faction makes NXT destination television. It's hard to not be excited to watch NXT every week at this point. It's more of a you don't know what could happen type thing, even though they do record them and you can read spoilers for the tapings and all that crap. But if you don't get into that kind of stuff, every Wednesday is like a new adventure for you, and pretty much anything could happen. And the roster's stacked right now in NXT, so you're guaranteed.
I will say this about NXT. I think, I touched on how charismatic Adam Cole was, and I feel like Bobby Roode and Drew McIntyre now, all these guys who are being positioned at the top of the NXT card is signaling a new trend in NXT, and it is a move away from an in-ring centric show to a more character-based show, because I think that WWE is looking to bring more guys up who they can actually use, or more so that Vince can actually use. And that's one thing I'm not a big fan of when it comes to NXT. In fact, it makes me a little concerned about the direction overall of NXT, because I'd rather see Kyle O'Reilly at the top of the card than Bobby Roode, Drew McIntyre, or Adam Cole. And to me, I long for the days when Neville, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens, the guys who are wrestlers first, were at the top of the card, because to me that's what I look for. I'm not a big character guy. I'm more of an in-ring guy. So I really wish they would get back to that. But at the same time, I am excited to see what they do with this ROH stable. It should be fun. Yeah, I'm looking out for it. So we'll see.
All right, so that's NXT Takeover, and again, the bar was set fairly high for anybody coming after that for the weekend. And
yeah, it's tough to follow.
It would be a tough show to follow. SummerSlam would try for 6 hours, but it didn't really help that it was 6 hours. The pre-show, not a lot to come out of that. The the SmackDown Tag Team Championship was probably the best thing to see out of the pre-show, obviously.
Yes.
Neville and Akira put on a good match, where Akira would lose the title to Neville, and then Miz and the Miztourage would beat the Hardys and Jason Jordan, which was basically an excuse to get the Hardy Boys and the Miz, your IC champion, and Jason Jordan on the card. That's pretty much all that was for. But yeah, so the Tag Team Championship match was good. The Usos getting the titles back from the New Day, adding a lot to that rivalry, that feud, which is a good one. They have good chemistry together. They work well off each other. And the match was great.
Yeah, it was the best match of the night for me.
John Cena and Baron Corbin kicked the main show off in just an all-around weird match from start to finish. Nothing seemed really comfortable. It was awkward, I think, the entire time. And John Cena would win.
Surprise.
Which sprung a lot of people to theorize that Baron Corbin has heat backstage like Enzo does. Baron Corbin and Road Dogg would deny it, but what else would they say? They're not going to come out and say that, yeah, everybody hates him.
Right, exactly.
So,
I don't know. I don't know what that was about. It's weird.
We don't know the truth, but, I mean, from a guy that was, Andre the Giant trophy winner, Money in the Bank guy, to fall so quickly, and to tell us that, well, it's just one match out of, a career, that's a load of crap. You appeared to have high expectations for this guy, giving him two of your your accolades, I guess, feathers in his cap, and then kind of squash him in a matter of a week seems bizarre. Other than, you're losing faith in the guy, and then you call up Bobby Roode to the same show that he's on. I mean, I don't know. Some when there's smoke, there's fire, but we don't know. We don't know for sure. We're not backstage. Maybe they do have different plans for Corbin. Who knows?
Well, either way, Cena winning that match did no favors for him.
Right.
I mean, he didn't have anything to gain from winning that.
Especially with Cena leaving the show.
So unless they have something to do with him losing all the time and it's stemming from that, I really don't see why he had to lose. But the BS for this show didn't start there. I don't understand why Akira Tozawa lost the belt again.
Oh, boneheaded
move. Why did he win it on Raw, first of all, and then lost it 6 days later?
Why would you end Neville's monumentous title reign for no reason?
I don't get that. That's head scratching moment right there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't mind him losing on Raw the title, or on a regular show, I should say, instead of pay-per-view, but have him losing on 205 Live. Make it a big deal. Make people watch 205 Live since the ratings are apparently so bad.
Sure, but then don't have him lose it again.
No, right.
Don't have the new champion lose it again on Sunday. I don't know.
Right. All I'm saying is,
I feel like nobody has any momentum now in the cruiserweights, and they're just dead in the water. Why would they do that?
Well, there's potentially one man that has momentum, and that's
possible.
Yeah, that's
right, I forgot.
Possible reasoning for the booking of a heel champion. I don't know. We'll talk about it a little later. The SmackDown Women's Championship match would be Natalya versus Naomi, and congratulations to Natalya for a first-time Women's Championship run. I know she was a Divas champion, but we'll call it first time with the Women's Championship. So congratulations to her. Good run by Naomi. Probably should have been a longer one, but she did get hurt, and they made that choice to strip her of it, like Monroe said. Natalya is most likely just a transition champion, sadly. But she's earned it, definitely. She is kind of the elder statesman of the division. So
yeah. I'm pretty happy she won. I think Naomi had it wasn't very lengthy, but it was longer than I expected it to be. And it was a fine title run. I don't have very many issues with her title run. And I'm happy that Natalya is getting a championship run finally with this title. And I think their match was one of the strongest match on the show.
I agree. It was my favorite match from the women's division.
Absolutely. Second best of the weekend.
All right. And then the next match would be the Big Show versus Big Cass with Enzo in a shark cage. Enzo, for some reason, would strip to his boxers to grease himself up to get out of the cage just to get knocked out. He was a big help there to Big Show, who would lose to Big Cass. And then on Raw, they would continue this Enzo Big Cass crap in a Brooklyn street fight. And then Big Cass, I actually saw this live, would tear his MCL or ACL, which one. And he is now out about 9 months.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So
that was pretty bad.
You could tell it was bad when
you
could tell it was bad when he hit the ground, and then he tried to walk on and he had some trouble, and it seemed like he was kind of recovering, and then when he went to go hit the Empire Elbow, he just collapsed.
Yeah, he just collapsed. It was bad.
And you could tell how frustrated he was hitting the mat and stuff, so you knew it was legit. But yeah, hopefully that'll be better things. Get some, 9 months off, get freshly away from this Enzo crap, and he can come back and do better things.
Yeah, don't wish that on anybody.
No. But
Seriously.
Hopefully something positive can come out of it at least.
Right.
Shortest match of the year, 10 seconds. Randy Orton defeats Rusev.
Gross.
I don't get it.
Appalling.
Why?
Yeah, no idea. And then Randy Orton, I don't think was even on SmackDown, so this week, but I didn't watch it.
Neither was Rusev.
Well, why would he?
Again, no benefit to Randy. Rusev have everything to gain from this. I don't understand the booking here.
Sasha Banks against Alexa Bliss would be up next for the Raw Women's Championship. This would be the second time that they had a match against each other for the title in which it just kind of ended, and they were kind of just starting to build towards the heat. Like I thought it was building to a good, it was slowly building to a good crescendo, and then it just ended. That was the only downfall. I thought that, again, these two have good chemistry together. I think they work well together, and they just didn't let them go again. It happened at Money in the Bank, and it happened again at SummerSlam. And I don't know, we're going to get a rematch on Monday, but who knows?
Well, I disagree with that. Their match at, it wasn't Money in the Bank, was it?
Wasn't
Pretty sure it was.
Wasn't that their last pay-per-view before SummerSlam?
Oh, I thought that was just a one-show pay-per-view. That was a two-show pay-per-view? That was Raw and SmackDown?
No, it was just Raw.
Oh, no,
Oh,
wait,
no,
that was
SmackDown.
just SmackDown.
That was just SmackDown.
Great Balls of Fire.
Yes, that was it.
Oh, gosh, how can I forget that name? But no, their match at GBOF was actually really good.
No, I know it was. The ending.
And the one they had this past Sunday was not. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it ended so abruptly, and it felt like it was cut short for some reason. And I think maybe that has something to do with the fact that they're going to be wrestling next Monday. Maybe that's why it was cut short. I don't know. I do not like the way it ended. I mean, the right person won, but I don't like the way it ended at all. So hopefully next Monday, or this coming Monday, they'll have a better match.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess, on that one.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor would be next, and we got the Demon entrance that we all wanted. Very short match, but entertaining match, and Finn would actually win. And
yep.
Feels like
I don't understand what the point of Bray Wyatt is now, though. That's the only thing. I mean, he should kind of just pass along his gimmick to Finn Balor and leave the company because, I mean, it's like every time they build Bray Wyatt, he does the same thing. He gets on the Titantron, he says his words, and then he loses. That's like his gimmick. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he beat Finn on Raw, so I don't know. It made sense to me that Finn won this because of the victory on Raw, but...
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it made sense. It's just like I don't think Bray ever is going to get a big win in his career. I mean, even that WWE Championship win that he had early in the year, I don't even remember that because it just in the long run it didn't even matter. It didn't help his character at all. You see where he is now. I mean, he can't even buy a win. And you would think that by Finn Balor beating a former heavyweight champion that it would mean something, but what's Finn Balor going to do now? Face Jason Jordan and what? Another directionalist superstar. It's like, I don't know. Feels like a lot of guys are in limbo.
Yeah, again, we'll have to wait and see. The Jason Jordan thing, I think, was, again, I think a heel turn is coming for Jason Jordan. He thought he was ready to beat a guy like Finn Balor. Finn Balor beat him. We'll have to wait and see, but that was on Raw. And no Bray Wyatt, I think, at all on Raw, but I didn't watch the whole thing, so... I didn't have a chance to go back and look, but perhaps the Finn Bray thing isn't over yet. We'll have to wait and see till this week, I guess. Raw Tag Team Championship match would be next. Cesaro and Sheamus defending against Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Another really good match, I thought. The tag team matches this Sunday were really good. And
yes, they were.
Dean Ambrose and Seth would come out victorious. Your new Raw Tag Team Champions, thus making Ambrose a Grand Slam champion.
Wow.
Congrats, Ambrose.
Yeah,
worked his tail off. Isn't it odd how Vince McMahon is reportedly, obviously reportedly, is not a fan of tag team wrestling, but the tag team wrestling on his show happens to be the best part of his show? I don't know. Strange to me.
Yeah, the SmackDown titles definitely deserve to be on the main card.
Absolutely.
But this match was, just as good. Great action back and forth. Four very talented guys. Happy to see the title change hands. I mean, it was all good. No
Overjoyed to
issues with that.
see Cesaro rip that damn beach ball. That was a highlight of
Oh
the night.
man, that was a highlight of the weekend. I
Yeah.
mean, really, just perfect. Stop with the beach balls, please.
Well, what's the point if you're gonna have beach balls in the crowd, you're gonna do stupid crap like waves. You're not allowed to chant "We want wrestling." You're just not, because you don't care.
Right.
You paid to do whatever you want in the audience and get the attention and the eyes on you, and not on the wrestling. You're disrespecting the wrestlers, no matter what
Yep.
John Cena does in the ring, because that was even more infuriating.
Oh, absolutely.
John Cena pandering to
Terrible.
beach ball people. Like Brooklyn, you were terrible. Saturday you were okay, but Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, awful.
Awful.
Like why you keep getting
And they're going back to that city
right?
next
They'll
year.
they'll keep getting it because it's a big city. It's essentially MSG light.
Yeah.
So I get it. I understand why they're getting it, but your audience sucks.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys should be disappointed. You should be ashamed of yourselves if you call yourself wrestling fans. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take a holier than thou status, but you paid a ton of money to be in those seats, and you just showed nothing but disrespect.
Oh no, Dave, it's hard for me to even associate myself with WWE fans when I see stuff like that. I even heard that on Monday during the cruiserweight match, they were saying this match sucks. They were chanting that, and when I hear stuff like that, it really makes me want to distance myself from the entire WWE product in general. If the fan base, in my opinion, is a representation of the product, and I don't know. I don't want to rant.
It was disgusting. I don't understand why they think it's funny, why they think it's okay, why they think it's cool. I don't get it. I mean, if you're not interested in the show, why are you there? Why are you paying your money? Stay at home and do that shit in your living room. It makes me so angry because it's very disrespectful to these people that go out there and put their bodies on the line for their and our entertainment. I mean, they don't do that shit where Brock is in the ring, a part-timer who's barely there. No, they don't do it then. They do it against the workhorses like the cruiserweights who are, victims of terrible booking.
10 times the in-ring talents.
Thank you. They do it to people like that, or to the women who try hard that don't even get that far but still try hard. They do it to people like that instead of people like Brock that deserves it. I don't get it.
They need to do what they do in NXT. And they need to take the lights off the crowd and just put them in darkness and focus on the ring. That way people, just know, like, watch the match, enjoy it. Stop trying to make this about you, because it's not. Never was.
Well, they did the beach ball during Finn Balor's match, so they got all excited about his entrance. There's a still frame of them all posing in the entrance, and then they throw a beach ball out there during his match.
I don't get it. All this is going to lead to when we go to shows now, it's just going to be even more trouble trying to get in. We're going to have to do a freaking full body cavity search just to get into the building now because people are so stupid.
They're not searching my cavities.
I mean, really though, all it takes is one bad apple, dude. It's just going to make it bad for everybody else.
Oh,
That's
sure.
it.
Sure.
I mean, it's just, we already can't take bags in because somebody was dumb enough to actually threaten the place with a bomb. And now people are being stupid and disrupting the show or the program with a beach ball. They're just going to start banning everything now, and it's going to get terrible. I don't understand why they don't see that.
Yeah, I'm sure we sound like old farts right now, and there are some people out there who are like, oh, come on, man, just let them do what they want to do. I honestly, at some point, you have to put your foot down and say enough is enough. I'm all for the crowd having chants. I'm all for the crowd being involved in the show, but in the right ways.
Exactly.
There's a word I'm looking for here that's escaping me. But there's a way you're supposed to behave at a show, in my opinion, and they're going beyond that. They're trying to make the show about themselves, and it's not cool.
Yeah, not at all. I can't stand it. I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah, you paid a lot of money. Do what you... I mean, if you're going to ban anything, ban stupid signs. Things that actually get in the way of people enjoying the show.
Sure.
All right, so Dean and Seth are your new tag team champions. They would go on Raw to face off with the Hardy Boys in a respectable, I don't know, fan meets legend match. I don't know. Whatever. It happened. The next match would be the United States Championship match. Kevin Owens against AJ Styles with Shane McMahon. as the special guest referee. AJ would win in a somewhat controversial way, even though it wasn't at all controversial, when Shane counted 3, not having seen AJ's foot on the rope the entire time he counted 3. And then he would restart the match, just not actually say it finished or was a fall or anything like that. Kevin Owens would get upset and lose. Kevin Owens would then go on Tuesday to complain more about it, even though Shane, messed up and whatever. It would result in a rematch with Baron Corbin as the referee this time, and same shenanigans. Shane would come out and remove Corbin as referee because he was going to count a 3 count on a low blow, unheard of. So just building towards a KO Shane McMahon type deal, probably for Hell in a Cell. We'll have to wait and see. But most likely that's what they're building at, unless they're doing something with Corbin and Shane, which I doubt. More likely, you might get AJ and Corbin. So, we'll see. But the match...
I don't care for it.
Another problem I have right there. 2 insanely good wrestlers wasting away in storylines that aren't about, like, the wrestling aren't about, like, I don't get it. I don't get how that match at SummerSlam isn't 5 stars. I don't get it. Take the training wheels off, get Shane McMahon's ass out of the ring, give those guys 25 minutes, and let them tear the house down, because that's what I want to see. I'm not trying to see this dumb story crap. I'm trying to see them wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the match that AJ and Shane had at WrestleMania was actually pretty good. But I don't care to see Shane in a wrestling ring. I never did, and I do not care now. And we all know what's going to happen. It's going to be boom, 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 across the turnbuckle, whatever the movie does, and then fall off of something high. I mean, I don't get it. I don't care for it, and I'm not looking forward to him wrestling another match with someone as talented as KO. I can watch AJ and KO wrestle each other forever because they both are super duper talented. But we didn't get that at SummerSlam. We didn't get an awesome wrestling match like these two can put on at SummerSlam. We got an overbooked product with too much Shane McMahon, just too much. I don't care for it.
Yeah, but Shane McMahon jumping off stuff puts asses in seats, so that's what you're gonna get.
And it's amazing because they look at Shane as, a match with him as being a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't understand why.
He's a McMahon, that's why.
Maybe.
I don't know. I like Shane. I don't know. A match with Kevin Owens would be fun for me, but that's just me. I don't know. I like it. And I like the AJ Kevin match at SummerSlam. It wasn't great, but it was good. I was entertained by it. Could have been better, sure, but I still enjoyed it. WWE Championship match would be next. Jinder Mahal defending with the Singh brothers, tagging along with defending against Shinsuke Nakamura. Pretty good match up until the end. I thought these two worked well together, told a good story, and then Jinder Mahal would get the victory after the Singh brothers would come in and do their thing and kind of throw Shinsuke off, I guess. I don't know. Distract him enough for Jinder to get the victory and retain his title. Which, that story clearly isn't over with Shinsuke facing off against both Singh brothers on Tuesday, getting the best of both of them after they got some fight in, and then Jinder would then try to attack Shinsuke post-match and then get beaten by Shinsuke. So that story is not done yet. I think we're going to still get Shinsuke as champion, defeating Jinder at the next pay-per-view, most likely.
And I still happen to think that they made a really big mistake having him lose at SummerSlam, because what they did was they continued the trend with Shinsuke ever since he got called up to the main roster, in that he is just another guy. And when he wins the championship, he's going to be just another guy. And just that fact alone leads me to believe that there's no way that we're going to get this dream match of AJ versus Shinsuke at WrestleMania. If it happens, you can mark this podcast down and call me and tell me I'm wrong, fine. But right now, I don't see it. To me, if they had confidence in Shinsuke, he would have been booked as a major attraction, and he would have came in and just beat everybody. Instead, he's not. He's just another guy now. And because of that, his entrance looks corny on him, and people are starting to sour on it. I see it left and right. It's just it's a shame because he's way better than that. And I don't know. I really don't hate Jinder or anything. He's not that bad. Honestly, the title reign's grown on me. But the handling of Shinsuke Nakamura has to be one of the single most disappointing facets of WWE programming this entire year for me.
I have to agree with that. I mean, like you said, no offense against Jinder. He's really grown into this championship role. He looks like a champion. He carries himself like a champion. I think he's actually getting a little bit better in the ring. And when he's against someone like Shinsuke, he looks good. I have no problems with that. I feel like Shinsuke is the type of person and the type of character that should have been treated like The Undertaker. The Undertaker is always a special big deal when he shows up. It should be the same with Shinsuke. Because even when people that don't know him, when you see him, he's electrifying, man. He just grabs your attention. He's that type of character. His antics, his music, his everything just grabs your attention. And I think he should have been treated like a special attraction. And right now, it's like no offense against Jinder, but I'm sorry, Shinsuke is better than Jinder. So for him to lose like that, and it seems kind of abrupt the way it ended, and to have these Singh brothers, and I think he wrestled them on Tuesday, and he still got beat down for a while. I don't understand where they're going here.
And
I don't think
it only took one finisher after he kicked out of like 2 AAs to win the match. I don't know.
This guy beat Cena. Did we forget that? I mean, isn't that supposed to be a big deal? The same guy they moved to Raw to help promote talent. He beat this guy. Did we forget that? But you mean to tell me that, Jinder Mahal, I mean, title run or not, for him to lose like that to Jinder, I don't like it. I just don't like it. And I think it's really just a travesty as to how they're booking Shinsuke. It could be so much better, and they're really failing with that one. I don't like it.
I think it's ridiculous to say that Shinsuke versus AJ is not going to happen. They know how much money is there. It's barring any kind of injury to either gentleman. That match is going to happen. Barring any significant change to either person's status in the company, that match will happen. They've teased it once. It'll happen eventually. Probably in a big event like a Mania or a SummerSlam. Most likely a Mania. But that's too much money there, and they know it. If not just from AJ and Shinsuke telling them that. But the crowd told them too. Do they listen to the crowd? Not always. Not usually, but I don't know. But yeah.
I hope you're right. I can see that match happening on an episode of SmackDown before it on a big show. Honestly, I can. So I hope you're right.
The final match would be the WWE Universal Championship 4-way match between Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe taking on the champion Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. Lots of heavy hitting in this match, lots of breaking things around the ring, tables, barricades, I should say, announce tables, bodies, all of that sort of thing. And Brock Lesnar would retain, and we would find out on Raw that Brock and Braun are going to face off at No Mercy for the title. Excuse me. Roman and Cena would team up against Joe and The Miz on Raw in a great segment, actually, when Cena introduced himself to the Raw crowd. Miz coming down saying what everybody else is thinking was a really good segment, and Miz once again stealing the show with the microphone, doing a good job. And if he most likely will be working with, I'm going to assume Roman, and then Joe and Cena are going to work a program, is my guess for right now, leading to Reigns and Cena doing something, because the word is they want Cena to work with the young talent and give the rub to Roman, for one thing, is probably the
main goal there.
The main goal, right? But you'll end up getting matches with Joe and Strowman and stuff like that. They want to have Cena mix it up with these guys on the roster that he hasn't faced yet. But yeah, so Brock's still the champion with Heyman, meaning he's not likely to be going to UFC anytime soon, especially with John Jones failing the drug tests that he took. So Brock's probably not going back to UFC anytime soon. probably going to be stuck with him for a little while, at least probably till Mania, where I'm going to guess he drops the title to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that looks like the plan.
So
Looks like the plan. It was a fun main event, honestly. I was enjoying it all the way up until the end. But I just, at the end of the program, I sat there and I had to think to myself what I witnessed, and I could only draw one conclusion, and that was that I saw the perfect example of the differences between what I would consider a pro wrestling show and a sports entertainment show. Because to me, all that SummerSlam was a display of how important WWE makes everything going on outside of the ring and how unimportant everything that happens inside of the ring is. And that, to me, is the most disappointing aspect of the programming, next to the booking of Shinsuke. And I don't know. I kind of feel like I need to take a break from WWE because it just doesn't seem like it's for me right now. It's a lot of promos and storylines, and I'm more interested in the wrestling. I wish it was more focused on what was going on inside the ring. Still, though, a fun main event. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I really wish it was about the wrestling too, and I'm sorry, I did not like that main event at all. I'm not into big strong men just throwing things and throwing people through stuff over and over. I don't care for it. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. You have Brock, you have Braun, you have people like that it looks good when they do it and it makes sense if they do it. I totally get it. It's just not for me. I prefer a wrestling match, and I know people like Joe can actually do it, even Roman. So I didn't care for that match at all, and then the ending only made it even worse for me. And I've said it once, and I'll say it again. I don't care for Brock Lesnar. Never did, never will. I don't want him as my champion, and I hate the fact that he still is. I don't care what anybody says. You can try to explain that. You can try to make up for it. You excuse it, apologize. I don't care. I don't want him as my champion, and I really hate the fact that he is. I would have chosen anybody else but him to win that title. And I only want Joe, but I would have been fine with anybody else. And the fact that he still has the title just sickens me. I cannot stand it. But yeah, I don't care much for matches like that. And yeah, the booking of this show overall to me was just weird. It could have been an awesome SummerSlam, and it failed, in my opinion. And I just want to point out also, this is totally different, but we're talking about booking of Shinsuke. I want to talk about the booking of Sasha Banks really quickly. You know, everybody know I'm a fan. That's no surprise there. But if you really think about the booking of Sasha Banks, it really has been terrible since she debuted on the main roster. And I'm going to tell you why. Her win at SummerSlam was the first win on a pay-per-view for a singles title, for a single match. Just let that sink in.
You told me this before the show. I was legitimately shocked. She's got more facts, too, and I can't believe this.
I mean, this is Sasha Banks we're talking about. This woman had one of the best matches of the year a couple years ago. And this is her first win, a singles win on a pay-per-view. Also, she is a 4-time champion. She has not once successfully defended that title. Not once. She's a 4-time champion. If you don't say that's bad booking, you don't know what wrestling is. Period. I don't care what anybody says. That's terrible, especially for someone as good as Sasha. And more than likely, she's going to lose that title Monday. I'm sorry. If someone that has a track record of constantly losing the belt when she get it, I don't see her winning Monday.
Right, yeah. That's going to be her story.
It's going to be shenanigans if she wins. But I don't see her winning Monday, and that is awful.
That's her story, though. See, that's what she's been sick with from the beginning.
That's stupid. She's too good for that. She is too good for that. Give to somebody who is not as good a storyline like that. She is too good to have a story like that. That's dumb. And it's going to happen Monday. And if it does, you think I'm ranting now? You just wait. But yeah, like I said, the booking of this show has been weird, and I really wish SummerSlam was better. I know some people loved it, some people hate it. I'm one of those people that was not a huge fan. I mean, it had its moments, but overall, I wish it was much better than what it was.
All right. New Japan stuff. Let's move on. Actually, no. We should talk.
Got a couple big debuts.
Enzo is moving over to 205 Live. Not sure if that was the plan to begin with, or the Big Cass injury kind of rushed that, but he did appear at the end of 205 Live to debut as part of the roster. So, sorry.
Bada boom, cruiserweights are doomed.
Sorry to the division with the most talent. Now you are downgraded to the least talent. So yeah. Raw would see, again, we talked about already, but Cena would join the roster. And we talked about that already. What else?
Glorious.
Yes. Mentioned before, Bobby Roode debuted on SmackDown to interrupt the singing Aiden English, who is a heel, which was confusing for a second, but and actually had a match. It wasn't a squash so much as a regular match, which was kind of refreshing. But he would win, and it led questions to believe, is he a face or a heel? But I think the interview kind of established that he's an egotistical heel. So, yes, Bobby Roode is now a full member of the SmackDown roster, but next week he will, I believe, face off with Roddy Strong on NXT per the agreement. I think no, he didn't actually beat Drew McIntyre, so I'm not sure how that works out. But I have a feeling Roddy's still not done. I know he has some dates. Roode has some dates left with NXT, which they usually do after the call up to kind of do both at the same time. So I think we're not done seeing Roode on NXT, but he is now a main roster member, which congratulations to him because it's well overdue.
Yeah, kudos to him for sure.
So in place of Baron Corbin, you could probably see a program with AJ Styles and Bobby Roode for that United States Championship going forward, and wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, that would be great.
So we shall see. I can't think of anything else. Oh, Shelton Benjamin returned to WWE television in a segment where he was kind of forced or put as a tag team with the other American Alpha guy that isn't the son of Kurt Angle.
Nice.
But it sort of seems like it's the same tag team he had with Charlie Haas.
World's greatest tag team.
It feels very much like that again. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But it also feels very forced, wherein I think Jason Jordan should be a tag team and not, definitely not Chad Gable. I think Chad Gable would be a great singles wrestler in the vein of like a Chris Benoit almost.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hit the nail on the forehead with that one, actually.
So I feel like he makes a better singles wrestler than Jason Jordan right now, especially with the heat that Jordan is getting because of that failed storyline reveal, and just failed overall because I just don't see him as ready for that kind of role in the company.
I still don't know why they broke American Alpha up. I love that tag team, so that's another disappointment for me.
So, we'll have to see. I'm just excited to see Shelton Benjamin back on TV. He's a great athlete, really good, charismatic superstar. So it should be a lot of fun to see him working again with this new crop of talent that we haven't seen him face off with. So it should be interesting to see how it goes. If it's a tag team, it's a tag team. But it still would be kind of fun to see him working against guys like Fandango and Breeze and the Usos and stuff like that in the New Day.
Sure.
I think that's going to be a lot of fun, even if it is in the tag team division. I gotta say I'm a little flummoxed, and I feel bad for guys right now like Ty Dillinger, Sami Zayn, and Mike and Maria, because what
are they gonna do?
Where are they gonna be on this card?
Exactly.
So there's gonna have to be, I think, a lot of shuffling around, or some business decisions made, because SmackDown is not a long enough show to have that much talent sitting on the sidelines doing nothing. I'm sorry. You need to cut some of the fat. I loved Zack Ryder at the beginning, but sorry. It might be time to say goodbye. Mojo Rawley, nice try. NXT was probably your ceiling. Dolph Ziggler, why even bother? Why? Like, you could be doing your comedy thing. I don't know. There's so many people on the SmackDown roster who deserve more time and aren't getting it, but we're wasting time on yet another gimmick change for Dolph Ziggler.
Rusev, too. I heard rumors that Rusev went in and had a fight with Creative and maybe ask for his release. I heard that was dispelled, but still, I mean, you could understand his frustrations if it was true.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. I know Monroe had mentioned it to me, and I went looking for it, before reporting it as anything. So
Yeah,
I didn't see anything, so I didn't want to say much.
Lana dispelled that rumor on her Twitter. So, but she didn't dispel that there was a fight. She just dispelled that they asked for it.
She has more to gain by dispelling it, because without Rusev or without WWE, she's just a model. I mean, granted, she probably could find work, but she's getting TV time with WWE, and Rusev isn't. So,
That's true.
Yeah, I think that's all I got for WWE. I did not watch 205 Live. I just read highlights. I didn't watch anything this week. I was working. I started to watch NXT because that was what I was most excited for. But anyway, real quick, update us on the world outside of WWE, John.
So right now, I do want to give a shout out to, instead of just leading with New Japan, I want to give a shout out to What Culture Pro Wrestling, who's doing the pro wrestling. I think it's a World Cup, and it was kind of cool. I was working today, and I was able to, on my other screen, see Rey Mysterio versus Will Ospreay, which is just a very cool match. Obviously, Rey Mysterio isn't what he once was, but I mean, just the idea of seeing those two, it was fun, and that's been a very fun tournament. I think we're going to get Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kushida. Lots of very interesting matchups coming out of that one. Pentagon Jr.'s somebody I've really been digging, and he's in that tournament. He's going to be facing Ricochet tomorrow. So that should be winding up this weekend. And, I'm enjoying it. It's free on YouTube. So, it's a win-win for wrestling fans.
They have very entertaining storylines, very entertaining matches. I highly recommend them, especially because they are free and on YouTube. Everyone has access to YouTube. Check them out. Subscribe to them. You can get notifications when they do go live, so you don't miss a show. I've been watching and learning who some of these people are. There are some recognizable names, like you mentioned, Ricochet, Rey Mysterio, Will Ospreay, Kushida, Takahashi. Then you have people like Matt Riddle. There's so many people in there that you will recognize, and there are a lot of people in there that are very talented that you would not know, but you can learn. And they've been putting on very good shows, and I highly recommend it for people to check them out.
Definitely. And then we'll round it out with our New Japan little coverage. We had 4 brand new cards announced, actually 1 partial card, but that's the one we're going to talk about first because it's the last major New Japan Pro Wrestling event of the year, called King of Pro Wrestling. And this is the pay-per-view where usually you see one of the guys who beat the champion in the G1 face the champion for the title, and you see the G1 winner defend his Tokyo Dome contract briefcase. So we have Kazuchika Okada taking on Evil for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, a match I know Monroe and I are very excited about. And then we also have Tetsuya Naito taking on Tomohiro Ishii. Ishii getting a big nod. That's going to be for the Tokyo Dome contract. And I don't know. I don't see either of those things changing hands, the title or the title shot. But regardless, going to be some awesome pro wrestling in there. And there's always the chance that New Japan could swerve you and throw something new at you. So we'll see how that goes. That's going to be October 9th. So it's a Monday morning. King of Pro Wrestling. Going to be a big show for New Japan. Before that, however, there are 3 Destruction events. Destruction in Fukushima, Destruction in Hiroshima, and Destruction in Kobe. Fukushima is going to be headlined. That's the first event coming up September 10th. Going to be headlined by the Never Openweight Championship and Never Six-Man Title Championship defenses. You've got LIJ taking on Okada, Yano, and Romero for the Never Six-Man titles. And you've got Minoru Suzuki taking on Michael Elgin for the Never Openweight title. That should be an interesting one. In Hiroshima on September 16th, they're going to see Hiroshi Tanahashi take on Zack Sabre Jr. for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. That's going to be one where I think we could very likely see a title change. Actually, each one of these shows, very likely to see a title change. Kushida versus El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship as well. Finally, Destruction in Kobe on September 24th, which is going to lead right into King of Pro Wrestling. We have Kenny Omega taking on Juice Robinson for the IWGP United States Championship. And that's one of the only title matches on that card, because on all three of these cards, we are going to see War Machine versus GOD and Killer Elite Squad in a triple threat match for the tag team titles. Yes, you heard me right. That match is taking place on all three of the Destruction cards, all three for the championship. So New Japan's going to have a very busy month, and it all leads right up into King of Pro Wrestling, which is going to be our last big stop before Wrestle Kingdom. So strap in your seatbelts, folks, because we're just getting started.
Awesome.
All right. And with that, I think we're going to wrap things up again. Thanks to everybody that entered our Finn Balor Funko Pop giveaway. Stay tuned for more things like that, because we're generous like that. Also, if you're paying attention to your podcast feed or catcher or YouTube subscription or whatever, by the time you're listening to this, the Mae Young Classic mini episode should be released, I should say, detailing all competitors in very educated fashion. More so than the bracketology did, even though they gave you some time with some of the women. We tell you about all of them. Monroe gives you a good breakdown of every competitor in the tournament. Get you ready for the first set of matches, which takes place this Monday, the 28th.
Yep.
So you can
Sweet.
get into that. Somebody spoiled to me who's in the finals, so I'm pretty pissed off about that right now.
Oh, jeez.
Not very happy about that.
That's the worst.
So I know who's in the finals, but hopefully I can still enjoy each match for what it is and still have the emotion involved, even though probably not as much as it would have been without being spoiled. Anyway, I did watch the bracketology for that, and it looked great. I can't wait for this tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun. So many good, talented women in this tournament, and I hope a lot of them get time to shine for any reason, whether it be to get contracts with WWE or elsewhere, or just to put the women's wrestling on the map more so than it is currently. Triple H made mention of that, that if they wanted to do this tournament 10 years ago, it probably would have been hard to find the talent. Now, thankfully, it's everywhere, and there's a lot more people they could go and get to compete here. So, yeah. Mae Young Classic preview. It was more of a regular episode than a mini, so enjoy all of that. Like I say, you should have it there in your feed, in your subscription right away. Should be before you get this episode, so there you go. Check that out. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Ringside Geeks, at Ringside Geeks, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Tell a friend, rate, review us on iTunes. All of that great stuff helps us out immensely. But if you would like to talk to us one-on-one on Twitter or social media, John, you are?
You can find me at xjohnneave, XJOHNNEAVE.
All right, and Monroe?
I am on Twitter at E_ENT, and I also have a rinky-dink YouTube page. It's I Have the Store Entertainment. Rinky-dink.
There you go. All right, that is our show this week. We'll be back next week, hopefully with Tom as well, so we have the full table to discuss all things wrestling, and we'll get into the topics of the week at that point. Thanks again for listening. Hope you guys had a great week, and I hope you have an even better one going forward. We will talk to you all very, 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 very soon. So, yeah, say goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.